Hey guys, it's Enodog here and welcome to my channel where I do fun Guild Wars 2 things. So a couple of days ago, Revenant posted this post stating that our professions are getting new weapons. So basically, to sum it up, Guardian's getting pistol in the main and offhand, Revenant is getting Scepter in the main hand, Warriors are getting staff, Engineers getting Shortbow, Rangers getting Mace in both the main and offhand, Thief is getting Axe in the main hand, Elementalist is getting pistol in the main hand, Mesmer's getting rifle, that's very interesting to me, and Necromancer is getting sword in both the main and offhand. So in this video, I'm going to be testing these weapons on these classes in the beta. But before I do, did you know that 99% of you guys aren't subscribed? Like, you guys watch my videos, you just don't subscribe. Come on, just hit the button, man. So I was going to make a video per class, but I thought, hey, just make one long video with everything in it and put timestamps in the description. So if you only want to check out the Scepter on the Revenant or the pistol on the Elementalist, then just click on the timestamp, it'll be there. And how I'm going to do this is I'm going to do it class by class. I'm going to run through the abilities, and then after that I'm going to do a combat compilation of all the classes together. So I'm starting with the Guardian. We've got the dual pistols here. Now I'm guessing this is going to give the Guardian obviously a bit of range, but it's going to put it more in the back line, because Guardian's always been kind of in the front line. It's kind of been a supportive bruiser type of class. I think this will definitely change that. So on the first ability here, the auto attack, we've got Through the Heart. Fire a piercing shot that inflicts bleeding. So it hits 5 targets and it pierces and it stacks bleeding. So that's pretty crazy. Let's see the piercing in action. That's pretty insane. So these dummies in the Silver Waste unfortunately don't get conditions, but you'll see that in the combat compilation. So the second ability is Peacekeeper. Fire a beam of searing light that damages and burns all enemies in its path. So it does damage 5 times, it stacks burning, and it hits 5 targets. So again, let's see that like this. That's pretty cool. Alright, third ability is Symbol of Ignition. Of course it's a symbol. Create a symbol that ignites when you strike an enemy inside of it or shoot a projectile into it, damaging and burning enemies inside of it. If the symbol is ignited by a projectile, it enchants that projectile to burn its target. Alright, so again it does 5 times damage, it stacks burning, it hits 5 targets, and it ignites every quarter second. And it's a light combo effect because it's a symbol. So let's see that. Okay, so it doesn't shoot a symbol, it creates it on top of you. So we'll wait for the cooldown and we'll do it there, and then I'll shoot a projectile into it and see that. Alright, that's pretty cool. Okay, the fourth ability, I see there's already 2 stacks here. Hail of Justice. Shoot a volley of rapid-fire piercing shots that inflict bleeding and cripple. Again, it pierces, it hits 5 targets, takes 10 seconds to recharge each charge. So yeah, let's see this one in action. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's quite insane, actually. Okay, and then the fifth ability, Jurisdiction. Charge up a ball of blue flame and activate the skill again to fire it. So it's a charging ability, you press it again to fire it. The ball damages, burns, and knocks back targets it hits a short distance. Deals bonus Defiance bar damage when fully charged. So it's got a stronger knockback when it's fully charged. Projectile behavior changes slightly based on charge level. Changes slightly based on charge level, okay. So charge level 1, it does 6 seconds of quite a lot of burning. So the burning duration doesn't go up, but the burning damage does on each different level. And yeah, like I said, the knockback gets stronger the more you charge it. So let's see this one in action. Okay, that's pretty insane. You see it does quite a big area of damage as well. 240 radius. So I want to just do a quick charge on it as well. So let's see that in action. Okay, so that doesn't do as big of an area damage either. Yeah, it's half the area damage. Alright, so I can imagine this pistol guardian is going to be a lot of fun in PvP as sort of a backliner, like I said. Can also imagine swapping between pistols and greatsword or sword and shield, something like that. It's probably going to be very strong in World vs. World. And I don't really see this being used much in like fractals or raids, but we'll see when the patch actually gets released. So let's move on to Revenant. So on the Revenant here, we've got a Scepter in the main hand only. And I can imagine, just like with the Guardian, that this is going to give the Revenant a bit more range. Now, of course, you do have the Shortbow on the Revenant and the Hammer for range, but yeah, we'll see how this works out. So the first ability on the Scepter here is Serene Slash, which goes into Acerbic Cut, I think that's how you say that, and then Motivating Will. So the first one does just damage, second one stacks might for 5 targets, 5 ally targets, and the last one gives barrier. So let's see that in action. The range is 300, so it's actually not that far. Whoa, what the hell? Look at that. This is insane. I was not expecting this. This is like a Devil May Cry hack and slash type of feel to it. This is insane. Holy crap. Okay, let's turn auto attacking off on that. Second ability is Blossoming Aura. Envelop target foe with energy from the mists that deals damage over time. The energy explodes outwards after a short delay, damaging the enemy and granting barrier to allies. Striking the enemy with Scepter auto attacks causes the final effect to be stronger. Okay, that's pretty cool. So you envelop the foe, so you kind of like target them with what they call mist. Let's see it in action. So that's what it looks like. It does damage and then it explodes. The range on that is 900, so that's quite far. It's like this range. And then they say if you auto attack, it makes the final result stronger. Okay, that's pretty cool. And then the third ability is Otherworldly Bond. Form a tether through the mist to a target ally or enemy. The power of the tether can be increased with Scepter auto attacks. You can only be tethered to one target at a time, and the link is severed if you are too far away from your target or when you swap weapons. And then on enemies it does vulnerability, cripple and slow in 1 second intervals. And on allies it does might, stack, fury and initial might in 3 second intervals. So from a tether, so let's see that in action. Okay, the range is 900, I didn't see anything happen. Though it does say I've got the bond going. Can I deactivate it? I can. Okay. So yeah, they're on the targeted dummy, you can see the bond. Now, of course, these dummies don't get negative effects on them, so we'll have to see this in combat at the end of the video. But again, there will be timestamps in the description for this if you'd like to see that. Before we move on to Warrior with Staff, I do just want to check something quickly, which means I just need to get out of combat quick. I want to see what these effects would look like on my Legendary Scepter skin. Let's check this out. Okay, so it just looks the same, but it's insane though. Like, It looks so cool, it feels great. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be playing this. So onto the warrior with the staff here. Now for the beta, the game gives you Marauder's gear with a divinity rune in it, which is pretty interesting because I checked this out yesterday and it sort of puts the warrior in a close range support type of situation, similar to Guardian with staff, but of course that's ranged. So yeah, let's check it out. So the first ability is Balanced Strike, that goes into Reverse Strike, that goes into Inspiring Will. So it just does damage to 3 targets. The last one does damage to 5 targets, and it adds regen to allies. So it's just like a combat staff type of thing for warrior. The second ability is Valiant Leap. Leap to the targeted location, empowering allies and damaging enemies. So it stacks might and fear on allies, and it targets 5 enemies with quite a bit of damage. It also does healing on allies. And that's what it looks like. And there you can see the might and the fury. So the third ability is Line Breaker. Charge at your target, hindering enemies and protecting allies. So when you use it on an enemy, it does weakness and cripple, and obviously it does damage. On allied targets, it does healing, protection, ages, and it's unblockable. It also does break stun on allies, and it targets 5. It's got 5 targets, so enemies or allies. So let's see that on an enemy target. There you go. It does quite a bit of damage, and it does weakness and cripple. So the fourth ability is Snap Pull. Quickly snap your staff to pull enemies in and make them vulnerable. So this just pulls targets towards you, and it does 5 targets. And that's what it looks like. Again, in the combat compilation at the end of the video, you'll be able to see that in action. So let's move on to the fifth ability, Bullet Catcher. Focus your mind on the battle, blocking incoming attacks and granting yourself burn duration. After activating the skill, Defiant Roar becomes available for a short duration. Blocking attacks empowers Defiant Roar and extends the bonus burn duration. And then Defiant Roar, unleash a Defiant Roar, healing nearby allies and granting them resolution. Resolution is incoming condition damage reduction. And then it says blocking attacks with Bullet Catcher grants bonus healing per block up to 3 stacks. And this is what that looks like. And then you can cast it again to do the roar thing. So that's really cool. So Warrior's getting a lot of healing on this. I can imagine with, you know, your banners and stuff like that, you're going to be like a boon slave, is what we call it. So onto the engineer with the Shortbow. Now this is something I never thought I'd see. I don't think anyone expected this. So yeah, let's just dive in and see how this is going to work out. I'm just going to take this mech away. So on the first one here, we've got Arc Detonator. Fire an arrow equipped with an electric module that discharges when striking your target, shocking them and 2 nearby enemies with an electric blast that inflicts weakness. So it hits 3 targets, it shocks, which adds vulnerability, and yeah, it's got 900 range, which is quite a lot, especially for engineer. So that's what it looks like. The attacking is crazy fast. Look at that. That's without quickness or anything. Imagine you add quickness and super speed to this. Anyways, let's move on to ability number 2. That is Essence of Animated Sand. Fire an arrow equipped with a payload that spreads enchanted sand across the ground when detonated, granting barrier to allies on initial detonation and inflicting conditions on enemies per pulse. Chain Reaction. While active, detonates other chain reaction skills in range. They additionally grant bonus barrier to allies and initiate detonation. So this one grants barrier, chain reaction bonus, which adds to the barrier, and cripple. Let's check it out. Is that it? Okay, let's do it on an enemy. Oh, okay, so you activate it again to activated. Alright, let's see it on enemies. That's really cool. So it's like a little area of effect thing that you do other things in as well. Onto the third ability, Essence of Living Shadows. Fire an arrow equipped with a device that spreads shadow magic across the device when detonated, applying conditions on enemies and removing conditions from allies with the initial detonation, and healing allies with each pulse afterwards. Chain Reaction. While active, detonates other chain reaction skills in range. They additionally heal allies with each pulse. Struggling to read you. So this one does healing. It also does the chain reaction thing, and it adds weakness and blindness to the enemies. So let's check that out. It's also a targeted selected thing. That's what it looks like, and then when you activate it again, that's what it looks like. It gives might. Though I think, no, that was for my traits. So let's see that on the enemies. That's with the 2 on top of it. Okay, so then it activates the 2 as well. So that's what the chain reaction means. Okay, so the 4, Essence of Liquid Wrath. Fire an arrow equipped with a payload that spreads magical flame across the ground when detonated, inflicting conditions on enemies and granting boons on allies on the initial detonation, and granting boons to allies on each pulse afterwards. Okay, so it adds vulnerability, it gives might, and it's a fire combo field. So let's see that one. That's what it looks like. And then when you activate it, that's what it does. And it pulses. It's really cool. Okay, and then the 5th ability, Essence of Borrowed Time. Fire an arrow equipped with a device that envelops an area with chronal magic when detonated, stunning enemies and applying super speed to allies on initial detonation and applying conditions to enemies on subsequent pulses. So super speed slows enemies and it stuns for 2 seconds. So let's see that one. And that's what it looks like. Alright, so I want to test something. I first want to test this on myself to give myself super speed, and then see how quickly we can do the auto attacks. So here we go. So let's activate that and then go auto attacks. Look at how quick that is. That's insane. And then the other thing I wanted to test, of course, was just adding all of these together and then just activating one. I wonder how long they stay there for. They don't really indicate that. Anyways, let's do this and then activate one. So yeah, that is how you stack a bunch of fields. So onto the ranger with the double mace, mace in main and offhand. This obviously puts you in close quarters with your enemy with the ranger. But I saw some news here that there's actually new animations made specifically for this. So yeah, let's check this out. So, geez, like that's a lot. Okay, I see Life Siphon, I see some Viger. I honestly can't tell you what's going on here, there's too much to read here. So instead of reading all of it, I'm just going to, just use it and see it in action. Okay, so that's what it looks like. It's your 3 attacks, and then it seems to, I don't know, maybe stack poison. I see cripple there, and then nature's strength. Okay, so that's cool. It's going to return the spec to me, avoid combat. Flourish. Strike the earth, damaging nearby enemies and healing nearby allies. The ground flourishes in response, repeating stronger effects after a delay. Gain nature's strength if the initial strike hits the enemy. So nature's strength seems to be something new with this. You can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't really play ranger, but I do like that you are getting a heal with this ability. So let's check this one. Okay, that's what it looks like. It does do quite a bit of damage. It does initial and then delayed damage. And the delayed damage is a bit stronger than the initial. Alright, so 3rd ability, Oaken Cudkill. Again, correct me if I said that wrong. Imbue your mace with verdant energy and then leap to your target. Stun enemies and grant nearby allies protection. Gain nature strength if you hit an enemy. Okay, so it's just a leap and it does like a massive slam on the ground. I want to see that again. I can already see the combos happening here with the... So you leap into combat, activate the 2 immediately, and then just hammer them with your other attacks. Nice. Alright, 4th ability, Thistle Guard. Envelop yourself in thorns, striking nearby enemies and granting stability for a brief duration. Gaining stability. Gain additional bonuses and nature strength if you strike an enemy. So that's what it looks like. Don't really see thorns around me. Envelop yourself in thorns. Well, they did say that they are still working on the animations and visuals and stuff, so maybe they'll do something there. So, but that's pretty cool. It's stability, it removes conditions, gives you barrier as well. It's really cool. Right, and then the last ability, Wild Strikes, repeatedly slam the ground, damaging nearby enemies. The final slam does increased damage, dazes enemies, and grants nature strength. So you can imagine if you want to use this, you need to make sure that you have stability. So use this obviously before this. So let's check this out. I believe this is the ability with the new animation. Okay, that's quite hectic. So combo-wise, I can see first leaping in with this, then using this, then granting yourself stability, and then using the 5. And then obviously just hitting them in between with that. So let's test that out. I'll do it on the middle dummy so you can see the area damage. Yeah, it's quite hectic. Actually, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, let's move on to the thief with the axe in the main hand. So on the thief we're getting axe in the main hand, unfortunately not in the offhand as well. I think that would have been cool. Now I did play around with this yesterday as well, and it's kind of strange. You basically throw your axe, it's got quite a bit of range, and then it stays there and it spins there for a while, sort of like setting a trap. And that trap in quotation marks does like bleeding and stuff to your target. So I think that's pretty cool. And you'll see the other abilities also synergize with that as well. So but let's just go through these abilities quick. So the first one is spinning axe. You throw an axe to bleed your enemy and leaves a spinning axe on the ground. Then the second one is if you're stealthed, you throw an axe that explodes when it hits the target. Crippling enemies, gain initiative if you strike an enemy. So I'm just going to equip something that stealths me here so I can show you guys that as well. So the first one is just this, and then it leaves your spinning axe there, as you can see. It is glitching out a bit there on the wall. But yeah, I'm struggling to get it like to sit right on the enemy where it keeps doing damage. As you can see, it's not doing any damage to him, so I don't know if that's a bug or maybe it's because these dummies can't get conditions. I guess we'll see that when we do the combat compilation. So then if you're stealthed... Oh, that's not stealth, my bad. Now of course I'm in combat. There we go. I'm looking for this one. So then it should explode. Yeah, you saw that. Then the second one is Venomous Volley. Throw a fan of poisonous axes that leave spinning axes on the ground. So this stacks poison, it pierces. Oh, this one also pierces, by the way. Does poison, pierces. It hits 5 targets per axe. So that's going to be great for events like, you know, the Halloween farming events, stuff like that. So let's see this one in action. That's what it looks like. And then it leaves 3 axes. Also want to just see the piercing on it. Yeah, that works really well. And then your third ability ties in really well with all of this. So it just says recall your access, redirect spinning access to your target. So I'm just going to put it down a bunch of spinning axes, and then we'll redirect it to that target. And then does that. So it's not too much going on here for Thief. I think it adds a bit of dimension to the playstyle. I can imagine if you, similar to the Ranger, if you like going in and out of combat, you can imagine like pistol where you dive in and then dash back and then you stack a bunch of axes and then redirect it to your target and then, you know, go back into combat maybe with a sword if you like playing sword on Thief or dagger, something like that. I think it's really cool. So next up we've got Elementalist with the pistol. So the pistol on Elementalist has quite a lot going on. As you probably know, Elementalist has these 4 different attunements, each with their own abilities. So I'm not going to read through each and every one of these abilities. I'm rather just going to read the name and then just a quick description of what it does. I did try this out yesterday as well, and I have to say it's a lot of fun. So yeah, let's just get into it. The first one is Scorching Shot, just does damage and burns your foe. And it looks like that. That's all it is. The second one is Fire a bullet that bounces to a nearby enemy, gain might for each target struck. So this one gives you might and it does burning, but you also see that it says if you have a fire bullet, consume it to increase your outgoing damage for duration, if not create a fire bullet. So we'll get into that in a bit. Let's just see the ability first. So that's what it does, it bounces between targets and it stacks burning on all of them. And then you'll also see that now I've got this little flaming thing hovering around me, right? So that is your fire bullet. So now it says, if you have a fire bullet, consume it to increase your outgoing condition damage for duration. So we've got the fire bullet, and then you just shoot it again and it does the same thing, it just does more condition damage. So the third one on fire is Searing Salvo, fire a shot that explodes into fragments of fire when it hits the ground. If you have a fire bullet, consume it to gain a fire aura. So it's a targeted ability like this, you shoot it and it just explodes. And then now I've got the fire bullet, so we'll just wait for the cooldown and then we'll see that. So let's see, I should get an aura, there we go, fire aura. And I also gave it to some allies. Yeah, it says you give it to your allies as well, so that's cool. Let's go on to water. Let's turn off that auto attack. So that's the first ability there, you just shoot water, it heals per unique condition on enemy, so it'll heal your allies. Or no, it heals you, sorry, not your allies. And yeah, it just looks like that. It's just some water shooting. The second one is fire volley of icy bullets that inflicts bleeding. If you have an ice bullet, consume to heal for each strike. So this is quite similar to the ice shortbow, the 2 on that. It looks very similar to that. And then now you can see that I've got a ice bullet. And then it just does healing if I have that. Then your third one, fire a shot that freezes the ground underneath it, creating an aura that speeds up allies while slowing enemy movement. So this, I believe, gives you super speed and it chills enemies. If you have an ice bullet, consume it to cause the ground to shatter when it expires. So let's see the first one, just like that. Looks like that. And then I've got the ice bullet, so we'll just wait for the cooldown and then we'll see the shadow. And here we go. And then that's what it looks like when it shatters. And of course that is a field, it's an ice field. Let's go on to air attunement. So the first one here is electrify your enemy, making them vulnerable. Second one here is fire a shot that dazes your foe and leaves them vulnerable. So it stacks vulnerability and it stuns or it dazes for 1.5 seconds. Then if you have an air bullet, consume it to reduce the cooldown of your next pistol shot. So that's just what it looks like. It's just a basic shot, and then there's my air bullet. Then the third one is dash, then fire a quick shot. If the shot hits, you can dash again for a short time. If you have an air bullet, consume it to remove inhibiting conditions at the start of your dash. So if you have like a slow or a chill or something like that on you, even I think a stun, I'm not too sure about that. Yeah, it says the stun gets removed as well. And it's a combo finisher, it's a leap. So you dash, then you press it again to do the quick shot, and then you can dash again. And that's it. Let's move on to Earth. Turn that off. Piercing Pebble. Bleed your foe with a sharp stone. So let's see that one. That's all it is. Okay, the second one there is Shattering Stone. Fire a shot that shatters into multiple shards. If you have an Earth Bullet, consume it to enhance your next few attacks to inflict bleeding. And that's what it looks like. Then the third one, fire a shot that bleeds and immobilizes your foe. If you have an Earth Bullet, consume it to gain barrier when striking an enemy. So let's see that one. That's quite a big, quite a big bullet. So yeah, that's it for the Elementalist. I think this definitely adds a bit of more damage carry at the back while still being kind of supportive, as Elementalist has always been. I think it's a really fun playstyle, especially if you combine it with like, I don't know, Focus could be cool. I don't know if you'll be able to combine this with Warhorn. I think that'll be really cool. You can imagine like putting down a fire field with the Warhorn and then swapping to water and putting down this field as well. I think that'll just be crazy. So yeah, let's go on to Mesmer with the rifle. Now, Mesmer with rifle is not something I thought I'd ever see. Like I said before, I'm very excited for this, so let's jump in and see how this is. So the first ability is called Friendly Fire. Shoot an illusionary bullet that heals nearby allies on impact. So already they, wow, 1200 range. That's like Ranger level of range. Already here we can see a bit of a heal on just an auto attack, so that's pretty cool. It's starting to indicate sort of backline support type of damage dealer type of thing. So let's move on. Second ability is called Journey. Clone. Shoot a bullet through a portal. It reappears above the target location and explodes, damaging enemies and healing allies. Create a clone if you hit an enemy or an ally. So again, there's a heal. This also cripples, and it creates a clone if you hit an enemy. So let's see that in action. Damn, that's cool. Okay. I'm just going to swap this from Virtuoso to something else. I think if we just go Necromancer, it should be fine. I'm just going to pick random stuff here. Doesn't really matter. So let's see that again, because Virtuoso, you don't really get clones. So let's see how that looks now. And there's my clone. And it's got the little beta tag next to it. That's cute. So yeah, there it is. Let's exploit this clone. Alright. So the third ability here is Inspiring Imagery. Throw an inspiring beacon at a target location. The beacon will explode after a short duration, granting burns to nearby allies. The beacon can be detonated early to heal allies and damage enemies. So it gives Might and Fury. It's an ethereal combo field, and it's unblockable. That's really cool. Then the second one is Abstraction. Detonate your beacon, deliberating enemies and bolstering allies. So that's quite a bit of damage there, a lot of healing there. It blinds enemies and it weakens them. That's really cool. Let's see this one in action. So I'm going to do it first without detonating, and then I'll detonate it the second time. So you just shoot it, creates this little thing, and then it explodes. Then let's wait for the cooldown, and I'll do a detonation quick as well. Right, there it is. Let's see it in action. And detonate. That's cool. Did I give these guys a Chaos Shield? I think I did. Anyways, fourth ability is Phantasmal Sharpshooter. Phantasm. Create a phantasm that shoots a bullet at your target, stunning them. It's also quite a bit of damage. And that's what it looks like. This is pretty cool. You can actually create like a bunch of clones and stuff at the back here. And then stand between them to confuse people in like PvP, even Wolf vs. Wield. I think it's really cool. It's definitely a supportive backline so far, with lots of heals and stuff. And then the last ability is Singularity Shot. Shoot a bullet at a target location that explodes upon arrival, granting resistance and barrier to allies. A singularity lingers at the impact point. So it gives barrier, resistance, and it's unblockable again. So let's see this one in action. So it gives them resistance and barrier, and it just stays there. And then I see you can detonate this one as well. Dimensional Aperture. Collapse your singularity, creating a single-use portal that will teleport the user to your current location. Increase the cooldown of Singularity Shot. So if you detonate it early, it should create a portal that links to you. That's really cool. Yeah, there it is, portal. And then if you have an ally there, they can use it to jump to you. Now again, I can imagine in something like Wolf vs. Wield or PvP, this could be really cool. You know, you sitting here at the back, you're creating all these clones, and people are like, yeah, I'm not really going to focus on Mesmer because, you know, it's just going to disappear. I don't know which one I'm looking at. It's not really doing a lot of damage. And then you secretly healing your allies there. And then as soon as your ally's about to die, you just do this and they teleport to you. And then the enemy have all these clones and stuff to worry about. I find it very cool. It's a really, really cool playstyle. I'm really looking forward to this. Alright, so moving on to the Necromancer with the dual-wielded swords. So that's sword in the main and offhand. I honestly have no idea what to expect here. I'm going in blind here, so yeah, let's just jump into it. So the first one is Innovation Blade, Innovation Echo, and Innovation Deathly Innovation. So this pierces, it's got a range of 900, all three of them. All three of them do healing. This is very interesting. Let's check this out. Whoa, that's crazy. No ways. That's insane. And it pierces, you've got to be kidding me. And it seems like it heals you on the amount of targets that you hit. So yeah, that's really crazy. The second ability is Revenant's Wave. Send a wave of necrotic energy cascading towards your target. Gain life force when you hit an enemy. Reactivate the skill to inflict additional damage on all targets hit by the wave. So then if you reactivate it, it's called Satiate. Sacrifice health to inflict additional damage on all targets hit by the wave, dealing additional damage to targets below the health threshold. So the damage increase is 100%, which if you're critting, that could be insane. And the threshold is 50%. Yeah, this one also pierces. So let's do a pierce and then we'll check it out. Okay, I didn't really see anything there. Let's just try this from a normal range. There we go. And then you can cast it again, sacrifice your health, and then you deal more damage. That's really cool. Then the third ability is Path of Gluttony. Dash forward, releasing dark energy on nearby targets. Damage enemies hit and heal per target hit with reduced healing beyond the first. This skill can be reactivated to dash again. Okay, let's check that out. It's got a range of 450. Okay, that's crazy. And then you can do it again. That's actually insane. Okay, fourth ability is Hungering Maelstrom. Create a dark maelstrom that deals damage, inflicts vulnerability, and steals health. Reactivating the skill to inflict additional damage and conditions on all targets hit by the maelstrom. It does healing, it does life siphon. Yeah, let's check it out. Wow, that's crazy. and then you can cast it again. Reactivate the skill to inflict additional damage and conditions on all targets hit by the Maelstrom. That's insane. Alright, and then the last ability here is Devouring Visage. Fire an orb of death magic that inflicts enemies hit with persistent damage and grants life force. Reactivate the skill to recall the orb towards you and cause it to inflict fear. So when you consume it, when you reactivate it, it's called Consume. Sacrifice health to recall the orb towards you and cause it to inflict fear. I'm going to just do the orb first, and then we'll see it with the recall before it detonates. That is quite a long cooldown, 25 seconds. Alright, just going to play around, try to figure out a combo here. This is going to be so much fun. I can't actually wait to test this in combat. Alright, the fifth ability is back on cooldown, so let's recall it before it hits the target. And that's what it does. Alright, so that's dual-wielded sword on the Necromancer. I'm very excited for this one as well. Let me know what you guys feel in the comments below. I don't think all of these playstyles are going to be good for everyone, but I don't know. I like what Arena is doing here. I think it's a step forward in the right direction. So I'm checking out the Pistol Guardian here in combat. I'm just running around here in Silver Wastes, killing some of these enemies here. And I have to say that so far it's quite a lot of fun actually. Especially this charge ability on the 5. Well, when it hits, it misses quite often it seems. I think it's best to be used when you're like standing still. But the piercing shots are very cool. Look at that. So for the Revenant, this doesn't really feel very strong, but the game did give me, what's this, Celestial Gear, which, isn't the strongest. But also I will say that the cooldowns on the abilities are very short, so it might not be extremely OP, but they're very short, so you can continually use them, which of course is great. So far with the Staff on the Warrior, I have to say that it feels a lot like playing kind of a mix between Hammer and Greatsword Warrior, except there's a lot of healing, which also applies to yourself, and you just keep stacking wounds on yourself. It really is a lot of fun, and it's very strong. I'm enjoying this a lot. So I'm struggling a bit with the Engineer playing by myself, because it's very difficult to sort of plan when you want to put these abilities of yours before you detonate, and especially when the enemies keep running towards you, so you kind of end up just placing them on yourself. But when you have something or someone tanking for you, so if you like playing with allies or if you have your mech up, then it helps a lot, because if the enemies focus them, then it's much easier to place plan out where you want to put essentially your traps before you detonate them. So yeah, keep that in mind. I think this is more of a, I wouldn't say support, but more of a supportive type of class at the moment with the Shortbow. So, doing combat with the double mace on the ranger so far is a lot of fun. I think if you're the type of player that likes to swap between close and far range combat a lot, then this will be a lot of fun for you. Because like, for instance, on the Shortbow on the ranger, you can jump away from the enemy, and then with the third ability on this, you can leap back into combat. So if you like going in and out of combat the whole time, then yeah, I think you'll really enjoy this a lot. So a cool thing I realized while in combat here is that when you recall your axes, that also does the pierce. So that's really cool if you line up a bunch of enemies like this and you don't only want to hit the guy closest to you, you can actually hit all of them if you just, line it up correctly. I find that really cool. So playing around with this on the Elementalist, I feel like the rotation is a lot of fun. You constantly swapping between your attunements. Now I can imagine your combos will be a bit better if you have like an offhand weapon as well. But so far I'm really enjoying this. I love playing Elementalist and I think this adds a lot of dimension to the class. It's definitely a lot of fun, like I said. So I'm in combat gen, you can actually see that I'm doing the heals and stuff on my illusions and phantasmals. I really do find this very cool. I'm actually dealing a lot of damage. I've got Celestial Gear equipped here for the beta, and it's actually working really well with this. It's dealing a lot of damage, it's doing a lot of healing, as you can see there. Yeah, I honestly think this is going to be a lot of fun to play. I can even see this being very powerful in things like fractals and raids. I honestly think this is something that Revenant should have done years ago. So, playing around with dual wield sword Necromancer here, I'm finding that it's a really cool playstyle for kiting enemies. So I've got quite a group of enemies here, 3 hyenas, and yeah, I'm just going to keep evading them, going back and forth between close range and far range combat, letting fields fall on them, stuff like that. And of course, there's a lot of like self-healing and life siphoning and stuff going on here. And you could also go into your shroud or whatever specialization you're playing. And I think it just really combos well with all of that. It's a very interesting playstyle, and it's honestly a lot of fun.